Good evening. I'll make it 6 p.m. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Wyre Forest District Council Cabinet meeting this evening. Agenda item 1 are apologies for absence, but I see that all Cabinet members are here. So we'll move on to agenda item 2, which is declarations of interest by any members. Does any member of Cabinet have any interest to declare for this evening's meeting? No, thank you. Agenda item 3 are the minutes to confirm as a correct record the minutes of the meeting held on the 23rd of March. Thank you, Councillor Ballinger.
Thank you. I move.
Thank you. Councillor Martin, did you wish to second?
I do, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Is everyone in agreement to that?
Yes.
Do a show of hands. Thank you. Agenda item 4, call-ins. I'm not aware of any call-ins.
Yep, that's right, Chair. There are no call-ins.
Thank you. Agenda item 5, items requiring urgent attention. I'm not aware any specific item either. Is that correct, Caroline?
That's correct, Chairman.
Thank you. And agenda item 6, public participation. I'm not aware of any public participation with this evening's meeting.
Yes, it's a clean sweep.
Thank you very much. And I do apologise because it's a bit of the Helen Dyke Roadshow this evening, because the reports on the agenda all fall within my responsibility when these were looked at. Things may have changed since, but at the time that these were debated, they fall within my responsibility. So if we can move to 7.1, enterprise and business growth strategy, please. The background, a strategy for enabling business growth and enterprise. The background to the report is covered in point 3, where it explains that one of the council's priorities is to support a successful local economy. We have a very active economic development and regeneration programme, and we also host the North Worcestershire Economic Development and Regeneration Shared Service, which covers Bromsgrove, Redditch and Wyre Forest. And we are members of 2 local enterprise partnerships, Worcestershire and the Greater Birmingham Solihull. In 3.3 of the report, there is a list of initiatives the council has invested its own resources in. This shows how the council are actively supporting economic growth locally. As is pointed out in 3.4 of the report, the Wyre Forest economy is still in the process of recovery from the previous downturn. The district continues to experience lower than average wages, productivity and skills compared to other parts of Worcestershire and the rest of the Midlands region. And in fact, in some cases, still suffering from the loss of the carpet industry that was a main part of Kidderminster's economy for many years. The first enterprise and business growth strategy was adopted in 2016, and this is the first refresh of that document. This remains the principal document to guide how the council plans to encourage enterprise and business growth, which is even more important in the post-COVID period. This strategy was considered by the council's Overview and Scrutiny Committee on the 1st of April, where it was agreed by members to recommend to Cabinet that the strategy be adopted, but with the inclusion of reference to the Green Growth Agenda within the council's aspirations, and the strategy has been updated to reflect these comments. Therefore, I propose to Cabinet that the Business and Enterprise Strategy 2021 to 2026 is adopted. Before I open it to the floor, do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Ballinger.
May I second that?
Thank you very much. Any other members of Cabinet wish to say anything before I open it up to anyone else, any observer? Okay. Councillor Hart over to you as Chair of Overview and Scrutiny.
Thanks, Madam Chairman. Good evening, everyone. Very briefly, as you alluded to, sorry, I appear to be in the dark. It's the way my laptop's angled. It's probably better. The matter was in fact considered at the 1st of April scrutiny meeting. And I can assure you that it was very well received by all members across the political divide. Why, of course, wouldn't it be? The Blue Team approved this strategy in 2016 for a 5-year period, and this is a rerun, plus, of course, additions to it. I do think the growth ambitions on page 52 are really good, and also endorse, as did scrutiny, the growth agenda with green business growth as well. So, as you would expect, Leader, unanimously supported by scrutiny. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hart. If we move to the vote, then if I can ask members of Cabinet if they would show of hands if they accept that strategy. Thank you very much. Agenda item 7.2, Strategic Assessment Management Plan. You will note from your agenda that this plan is in the open, but if anybody wishes to ask any financial or commercial questions, we would have to move into the exempt. The purpose of the report is to agree the adoption of the Strategic Asset Management Plan 2021-2026 and associated property disposal strategy. 3.1 of the report gives the background to this plan. In 2014, the Council reviewed its approach to using its assets to support the local economy via plans to regenerate key sites in the district. This included supporting local businesses to invest in their own plans for growth. As a result, the Council adopted a new approach, considering investing in existing and new assets to support its corporate priorities. Consequently, the Evergreen Investment Fund was established with the aim to use the Council's assets to generate capital receipts and/or improve revenue streams and contribute to regeneration. The plan, which its shortened version is SAMP, is the principal document to identify how the Council plans to manage its diverse portfolio of property and land assets. This portfolio is key to both the delivery of Council services and its corporate plan priorities. The SAMP and the disposal strategy were considered by the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, again at its meeting on the 1st of April, and the committee recommended that Cabinet adopt the SAMP with the addition that it is recognised that the Council holds some assets which are of community benefit rather than just for financial gain. The SAMP has now been amended to show these comments. Therefore, I propose the adoption of the Strategic Asset Management Plan 2021 to 2026 and associated property disposal strategy. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Thomas. Oh, sorry, Councillor Ballinger. Councillor Thomas indicated first.
Aye.
Yes, Madam Chairman, happy to second the proposals in the report.
Thank you very much. Does any other member of Cabinet have anything they wish to say before I call on Councillor Hart? No? Okay. Councillor Hart, again, as Chairman of Overview and Scrutiny, your comments?
Yes, thank you very much, Leader. Again, this was considered on the 1st of April meeting of scrutiny. Again, a thorough airing of both the matters in the open, and indeed the juicy bit that's the pink pages in the exempt, of course, which I won't go to into this evening. There's no need. Number of members had questions on minor parcels of land, which the officers dealt with and are going to deal with, but it absolutely, in terms of the overall strategy, well, it goes without saying, given the assets that we own, Wild Forest House, Green Street, our car parks, loads of buildings and land, Bunsford Gort and Solihull as well, and a lot of other assets in between, such as industrial units. It's really, really important that we have a strategic asset plan and make the best use of our assets, and indeed in this time of economic difficulties, sweat our assets in the same way as someone would running their household budget. So the Scrutiny Committee had a very good airing of it, and there are no difficulties with the strategy, Leader.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hart. Is Cabinet agree? Can I have a show of hands, please? Thank you. Again, I'm sorry, it's me again. 7.3 of the agenda is the Strategic Facilities and Asset Management Plan 2021 to 2026. The purpose of this report is to agree the adoption of the Strategic Facilities and Asset Management Plan 2021-2026. The Facilities and Assessment Management team are key to make sure that the council's operational buildings and site portfolio are fit for purpose, accessible and well maintained. This plan is the principal document to identify how the council plans to look after its operational sites and building portfolio. 3.3 of the report details occupancy of Wyre Forest House and the commercial approach being taken by Wyre Forest District Council to marketing space and income generating opportunities. Members will also remember that the administration has asked officers to look at the future of Wyre Forest House with regard to other opportunities that we may be able to achieve for the benefit of the council and its residents. Members of the Overview and Scrutiny Committee considered this plan as part of their work plan, and it was agreed by the committee to recommend to Cabinet for adoption. The core objectives of the plan are covered in 4.1 of the report, which includes to implement a tenancy management and marketing strategy for Wyre Forest House. I propose to Cabinet that the Strategic Facilities and Asset Management Plan 2021-2026, including the Wyre Forest House tenancy management and marketing strategy, are adopted. Would you like to second that, Councillor Thomas?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I will happily second that.
Thank you. Before we take the vote, any other member of Cabinet like to say anything? No, I'll call on Councillor Hart again then, please.
Thank you. Again, Leader, very briefly, considered on the 1st of April meeting of Overview and Scrutiny Committee, the recommendation was unanimously supported to agree the Strategic Facilities and Asset Management Plan for 2021 to 2026. Clearly, we've got the high-level asset management strategy, and this is the facilities plan that sits behind it. And obviously with Wyre Forest House and how it's managed, it's essential we've got one. So no surprise that it was supported by scrutiny.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hart. Can we have a show of hands if Cabinet agree, please? Thank you. Apologies again, me again. Agenda item 7.4, Kidderminster 2040, a town centre vision. The District Council has a very strong record of planning strategically for the development of Kidderminster Town Centre, dating back in recent times to the adoption of the Rewire initiative back in 2009. And some members may remember that we also had adopted a can-do attitude around that time to look at a positive attitude to changing things, not accepting that things couldn't be done. On the back of that Rewire vision, the council was able to attract funding from Worcestershire County Council for works in the town centre. In 2016, the council adopted the vision for what is now referred to as Lionfields, which is part of Bromsgrove Street. Also, as part of that initiative, we have been able to enter a development agreement for the redevelopment of the former Glades leisure site. All this work was undoubtedly a factor in the successful award under the Future High Streets Fund to enable further enhancement of the town centre, which was exciting news for Kidderminster, and I think, if I'm correct, the largest amount that we've ever been awarded to carry out any improvement works. However, what the council did not have was a vision for the long-term development of the town centre. From a successful bid to the Greater Birmingham and Solihull LEP Local Enterprise Partnership, we were able to appoint Hemingway Design in September 2020 to develop a new town-wide version for Kidderminster. This vision should not be mistaken for a master plan. This is about how the council sees the vision for the next 20 years. It should be noted that any proposals in the document are not set in stone and that things may change throughout the process. In 4.2 of the report, it shows that there were just under 2,000 responses to a public consultation carried out with an age range of under 25 to over 65, which was good because that's all age groups taking part in a consultation. So there was a range of views. In 4.5 of the report, it talks about how this could work with the heritage of Kidderminster, talks about town centre living, the town becoming a healthier town and maximising waterside opportunities. It also mentions green space opportunities and the need to develop in a sustainable way. In 4.7 of the report, it emphasises that this vision is timely in the context of future funding opportunities. And unfortunately, I was at another meeting when this was discussed at overview and scrutiny, and only joined the end of the discussion. But I'm sure that from what I've heard, it was a very in-depth debate, and that very positive attitude came from that debate. The recommendation from overview and scrutiny is that the Kidderminster 2040 vision is agreed, but I will call Marcus, Councillor Hart, to speak on this after. But I recommend to Cabinet this evening that we agree to adopt the Kidderminster 2040 vision for the town centre. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Ballinger, thank you.
Second that, Madam Chair. Thanks.
Thank you very much. And over to Councillor Hart again. Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Chairman. This was considered at last Thursday evening's Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and it's fair to say it's exciting stuff, isn't it? You know, receiving £20.5 million from the government to regenerate our town centre, because for a while some of us have known that the only way is either someone from the private sector thinking that they can make a huge profit in investing in our town, being philanthropic, or indeed state intervention. And ultimately, government has realised that the old style high streets are a thing of the past, and we all know that. And if it wasn't dead before COVID struck, you can't even resuscitate it now, or certain parts of it, and it does need a huge vision. I'm not going to make a political point, because I wish you all the luck in the world, Councillor Dyke, as leader, because of course many of our communities will have expected us to have done this straight away, if not sooner, 5 years ago. And we know, don't we, that economic regeneration, Churchfields, Silverwoods, Crown House, they're slow burns. You know, the state of the area debate and the rewire was back in 2009, and we've achieved a lot in a 12-year period, but we've got to be realistic that it's going to take us a considerable period of time to achieve our vision. You know, even when we spend our 20+ million on Kidderminster, you know, it doesn't stop there, because things evolve, and it's really important that we show our communities that we've got a vision, but equally on the other side of the coin that we do put something into action. And certainly the type of and I would compliment Mike Parker and Oztap and all of those in compiling this report. You know, I'm just going to make one snippet of a point. You know, our canals and waterways, well, there's derelict and redundant carpet factories by them. Elsewhere in this country and in Europe, there's luxury apartments, and there's no reason that why we can't have that in Kidderminster, and we need the vision, and that's what we should aspire to. So there's lots to be done, and I look forward to holding you account on delivering it, leader, in a timely and expeditious manner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hart. I do remember some years ago, I suffered the same frustrations as everybody else does, because things didn't appear to be moving fast enough for me in the changes. And Mr. Parker actually said to me, what you have to see is what we're trying to vision, what our vision now is, won't become reality for 10 years or more. And as perhaps I've become older, I've become more patient, but it is very difficult when you get an amount of funding like that. It is expected that changes will happen straight away, but unfortunately they don't. But we're on the case, Councillor Hart, don't worry, I'm on the case. Right, if no one else is indicating to speak, can I have a show of hands from Cabinet if they agree to the Town Centre Vision for 2040? Thank you. we have a recommendation from committee under 8.1, which is the recommendation from overview and scrutiny, the 13th of May. Health action plan. Councillor Hart, were you
Yeah,
bringing it
unless
forward?
I'm missing it. Sorry, leader, unless I'm missing it, there's no report, is there? Am I right in that? No, right. I'm glad I wasn't going mad. Well,
No.
thanks for clarifying that. Well, let me just say that it was considered by scrutiny last Thursday, and Jenny Morton very kindly presented it and took questions. I'm pleased to say that the health action plan was unanimously supported by scrutiny. Lots of discussions about resource, as you would expect. Lots of discussions about counties' role compared to districts' role and the importance of working together. But, you know, it's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? I don't think there's a councillor across the political divide who wouldn't want us to have a health and wellbeing plan and wouldn't want our communities across the district to enjoy good health and well-being. And particularly with COVID, talked about mental health and social isolation, which particularly interested and exercise members. But it was a good debate and they fully endorsed the plan.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hart. Yes, there is no report. I did go to Councillor Hart first because there was no report, but have any members of cabinet got anything that they'd like to say on that item? Councillor Martin.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and thank you to Marcus and the Overview and Scrutiny Committee for recommending this. I'd just like to say that I'd like to thank Jenny and the officers, but I would also particularly like it noted that we as a council are want to thank the public because of during the pandemic, so many people came out to support the vulnerable, help the County Council Worcestershire here to help, but people went above and beyond that. I'm not going to name particular ones just in case I forget people, but I would like to thank all of those across the Wyre Forest that set up support networks to help the vulnerable during the pandemic, and long may their support continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. As I haven't got the report in front of me, are Cabinet happy if we accept the recommendation from Overview and Scrutiny? So can we just have a show of hands on that? Thank you. And it would be remiss of me not to thank Overview and Scrutiny as they've been involved in all the reports on the agenda this evening along with myself. So thank you, Councillor Hart, to you and your committee. Agenda item 10, agenda item 9, to consider any other business. I'm not aware of any other business. And although we have an item in the exempt, we didn't need to open that exempt item because we didn't stray into that field. So if no one has any other comments, I think that brings us to the end of the Cabinet meeting for this evening. Thank you very much to Cabinet members and all councillors that attended and any viewers. Thank you very much and have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.